Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Grant with Zaner Metals in Denver. We're back with This Week in Metals. Peter Thomas is back. What do you know, my friend?
I think it was a real exciting week. I'm really glad I was here to see it. Just some, just a lot of action across the board. I think we should jump right in.
Very good. Yeah. So gold was up just 0.7% last week. It was the second consecutive higher weekly close. We did set a 13-week high at 1845.38 on Monday last week. And
Okay.
from there, it was, kind of corrective to consolidative, although we saw a pretty decent close on Friday. So all in all, I think the market looks pretty good. You may recall we took last week off, but 2 weeks ago I was concerned about the market's inability to get above $1,800.
Yes, you
Um,
were. Hmm.
but we did break through that late 2 weeks ago, um, and not it satisfied that 1828, 1833 objective on the upside that we had,
Yeah.
but follow through was minimal. Um, so
Oh, yeah.
we'll wait and see. We've got a couple of different things factoring on the market. Probably the biggest being inflation. We
Yes.
saw some big inflation numbers come out last week. Um, CPI was up 0.8% in March, well
Big.
above the 0.2% expected.
Please don't forget to mention the PPI. That
Yeah,
was
we'll get there.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, 4.2% year on year in CPI now. That's up from 2.6% year on year in March. Core PPI 0.9% on expectations of 0.3%. Core PPI is now at 3% year over year, up from 1.6% in March. And then, as you mentioned, PPI
Yeah.
up 0.6% in
Yes, it was.
April on expectations of plus 0.2%. The annualized rate, 6.2%, up
Yeah.
from 4.2% in March. And core PPI up 4.1 is 4.1% year over year, up from 3.1% annualized in March.
And we don't mean to not lull you into into a sense of terror here, but we've been talking about inflation for a while, and what's happening is Pete's showing you the numbers,
Yeah.
which bear us out, and I think the reason, and we were just discussing this earlier, was the fact that COVID has hit India so hard. They're suffering. They're talking like 6,000 dead a day now. And what it has done is shut down the gold industry again. And they came back gangbusters last quarter. And now they're stepping back away from it. And so we're going to feel it. And I think that the underlying basis for jewelry, which is a big deal in metals for us, we're not seeing it come into the market now. So I think we're going to see continued pressure
Yeah.
from the fundamental side, Pete.
Yeah, that Indian demand is a big headwind right now,
Sure,
and
sure.
I would say that the other headwind is the continued firmness in U.S. rates.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Obviously,
good point. The 10
obviously, all
year has
these
been rocking. Yeah,
yeah, all this inflation news and uh, heightened worries about inflation have got people speculating that
sure.
the Fed may begin to taper sometime this summer. There's been some speculation that
Now, when the mark,
at or
I'll tell you some,
before Jackson
something
Hole.
something else for that too, Pete, was when we saw the break in the stock market, and it was a big one. We saw a lot of liquidation in gold, and I asked one of my buddies at another house. I said, "Hey, what's going on in gold? Are you guys selling gold?" He says, "No, man, it's all margin calls." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay." So we saw people coming out of their profits in gold and just saying, "Hey, put this for my. I'm on margin for Apple right now, and I'm taking a hit." So I think that was interesting how it spilled over.
yeah, that's fairly typical.
Yeah,
That if you're trading on margin, a lot of times you need to sell the good assets
Yeah.
prevent yourself from getting blown out
Well
of your
put.
bad assets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, there's an old saying in the trading industry, guys, that the first thing you do is sell your best asset. And it's so true. It's just
yeah,
amazing.
invariably
Hey,
it's
listen,
gold.
let's move into silver because what's going on with the premiums, Pete? I mean, they haven't slowed down at all. People are still paying up big time.
Yeah, I mean it's that market, yeah, it was actually unchanged last week.
Yeah,
Basically, it did set an 11-week high on
thank
Monday
you.
last week at 27.88.
Yep.
And so again, going back 2 weeks, we were waiting for that move above $27 to start feeling pretty confident about that underlying uptrend. And I do feel confident at this point, although after Monday last week, again, we were corrective to consolidative, but again, a pretty decent close on Friday. So I
Yeah.
think the market looks good overall. We, there was a CNBC article out last week that pointed out that silver's up 70% from the same time last year, and they talk about the experts quoted in that article talk about industrial demand
Yeah.
and green initiatives. So stuff that we've been
Mhm.
talking about for, I don't know,
Year and a half.
year and a half,
Yeah.
something like that. So
That's an
yeah,
expert.
so it's consistent with our own analysis, and I therefore think this market still looks pretty good. But the physical product is tight, and that leads to higher premiums.
I don't know how you guys are doing it out there in Denver. I really don't. I mean, I see guys going, "Oh, we're 6 weeks out on 100-ounce silver bars," and I call you up and I go, "What's going on?" You're like, "Hey, we got plenty." So, you've been doing a great job, man.
Ship
Thank you,
some out
and
today.
our customers appreciate it too.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know the thing is that as we're not a vaulting house, but we, with our tornado platform, everybody hedges with us, so we get to see what's going on. I mean, I just got offered 2,000 100-ounce bars today from one of our dealers. So our guys that have product are making it available to us. So don't worry about us running out. But I think the next 2 to 3 months are still going to be tight. We're Peru, Mexico, Ecuador, all the places that we buy silver from, they're still not up to speed. So I think this thing's going to continue to hurt
Yeah,
for a while.
I think that there's a little bit of concern out there about waning demand, just because we've seen some fairly negative economic data here in the United States. Going
Okay,
back to the non-farm payrolls print from
that's
2 weeks
interesting.
ago,
Yeah.
it was a huge miss. I mean, market was expecting
Oh, that was, yeah.
950,000 to a million, and it came in at
Oh
266.
no, it was like stepping in the ring with Mike Tyson, taking one of those body shots.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
But
even more currently, I mean, retail sales came in unchanged for April, and the market was looking for 1.3%. So that was a miss.
that
Industrial
was a big miss.
production plus 0.7 on expectations of plus 1.1. So that was a miss. And this inflation, has consumers spooked as well.
Yeah,
The preliminary look at May Michigan sentiment showed a pretty sharp drop to 82.2%. The market was looking for an uptick to 90.
yeah. I
And
think all the numbers are bearing us out now, and we were saying 6 months ago this was going to happen, and
yeah,
now
and
we're
so
showing it. And
right.
and then to our silver apes out there, the LBMA came in and went, oh, we've got 1.15 billion ounces of silver, and then all the silver apes came out and went, what? You're insane. Where did you find
I'll take them.
1.15, right? And so all of a sudden they went, oh, wait, that was an accounting error. It's 1.14 billion. And they went, yeah, that's a little closer, but we don't think so. So I don't know. That's a pretty interesting accounting error, but I think there's a lot less silver out there than a whole lot of people are telling us.
Yeah, and that's as you started this conversation about the premium, I mean, that sort of that reality bears things out, and
Yeah,
we know how difficult it is to get silver bar and coin right
and
now.
coin. Yeah,
Um,
You know,
and
God, what I wouldn't do for
sure.
100,000 silver eagles right now. I mean, we
Yeah.
just can't get numbers. You know.
Yeah. So we do have
Yeah.
availability in silver eagles. They're not cheap these
I
days,
was
but
just
we
gonna
got
say,
them.
if you're willing to pay up, we'll find them for you.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let's move over to the PGMs real quick, and let's also mention everyone. Let's dive in because it's officially National Craft Beer Week. So get over to your local brewery, give them a hand.
Denver's the place to be.
Yeah,
I
baby.
can hit like 5 of them, craft breweries within, 8 blocks of my house.
Pete, it's
Sweet.
your job to help them out. I'm sending you on a mission.
I may have to go take care of that today.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Platinum
Platinum,
really
down.
is looking good. I mean, we're seeing good demand and tons of rumors all over the market about green hydrogen coming, and the only place they're going to go is to Platinum. We're
Got
up
to.
like 33% on the year, I believe. So anybody that started the year buying on that last dip is having a pretty good year, especially if it's in a qualified fund for them. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, so Platinum set an 11-week high at 1275 last
Nice.
week. Again, like all the other markets,
Yeah.
it was on Monday, and then it turned corrective. So it actually ended the week down 1.8%. But like you said, this market still looks good. The
Yeah.
fundamentals are supportive. The technicals are generally supportive at this point. So I still like it. And
Let me tell you something. Try to hang on to some platinum ingots. I mean, their calls are coming all day. People want it for industrial stuff, for investment stuff. It's the hottest metal out there right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palladium, kind of a similar story. We finally got that 3,000 print, and then
Took a
the
while,
market
huh?
turned correctly. I mean, you couldn't sustain the gains above 3,000. I guess that's not terribly surprising given how far Palladium has come in recent weeks.
1,800 to 3,000 is a hell of a run.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
It was about a 7% pullback from above 3,000
Okay.
to like just above 2,800, and then stabilized and came back on
Came back,
Friday.
yeah.
But there's nothing in the what I'm looking at that suggests this rally is over. And so my next
when
is
we had Dave
3,250.
Davis from the Impala mines from South Africa on our show, and he just said, "Baby, it ain't there. We don't have enough product to meet demand." He's the man. He's the guy that runs the mines, and he says we can't produce enough to meet the demand. I think that sort of answered it. If you didn't get on at that after that show, I gotta wonder, right?
Well, he said that they were trying to open some new mines and stuff, but there's a pretty substantial time delay.
7 years.
Yeah,
7 years. You know what it is in copper in America? 30 years after all the
yeah,
permitting,
they're not
all
going
the
to open.
nonsense.
They're not going
Yeah,
to open any new copper mines in the
not
United
going to happen.
States.
No, not
Environmental
going to happen.
issues and permitting and stuff is just,
Well,
Plus, who
as
knows
we're talking.
where you have to make it. That's a bet on copper to a large degree.
Oh
It's like,
yeah,
where do you think
absolutely.
copper is going to be 30 years from now?
Well,
I don't have
I'll tell you something. All the guys that are in the ivory towers, reading the reports, getting the big checks because their family knew somebody. Mark Mills is with the Manhattan Institute. All right, and I read it, but Mark Mills is an interesting guy in that he's Canadian and he has a little background in mining. So when he does a long-term horizontal study from the Manhattan Institute, I'm the schmuck that sits down and reads it. Okay, so I save you guys all the pain. All right, what he said was outright. I mean, I've never seen one of these guys step up and go, "We are not going to have enough copper in this country for the Green Deal." He said, "We might as well throw it away." And I was like, "What? Wait a minute. You're not allowed to say that." And he says that there's 30 years of copper maybe left over. He says that after that, the materials don't exist. And he said, in his opinion, the entire exercise within the Green Deal, there's not enough raw materials to support any of it. And it should be thrown out and redone and written against the availability of what is there. And he also took a jab at the head of General Motors and said, how are you going to build all these cars by 2030? There's not enough copper around. There's no way that GM can get enough copper to go completely electric. And I was like, wow. I mean, I like this guy, man, but I didn't realize he was like willing to take a full swing, you know?
Yeah, you know, the C-suite executives are just like Congress. It's like, but you know, reality is meaningless. It's
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
what do the shareholders want to hear, and what do you know, the
Yeah,
constituents want to hear, and who
unfortunately, you're
can
right.
virtue
Yeah.
signal the best? That's what we
No
really care
arguments,
about.
my friend. But copper really, to me, that was weaker dollar, stronger yuan. China is still consuming. We have nothing to worry about as far as demand. The only thing that could really hit copper right now would be if China decides to tear down its ghost cities that it built to create full employment in their country. And there's lots of them, and they're gigantic.
Yeah, recycle
And
that copper.
yeah, I mean, the copper, steel, they can crunch, they can grind that, a lot of things down there. If they do, I think it'll ease up a little of the pressure on the market, but it'll last until they tear down, 5 cities. And after that, it's gone. And they're a very industrious lot,
Yeah, so copper was down 1.9% last week. Traded as high as 488.54 before it came under that corrective pressure. So again, just shy of that $5 target
$5. Yeah.
that we've been talking about for a while. A little bit of a kind of a simple hook reversal on the weekly chart, but you know
Interesting.
we've seen corrective activity in copper throughout this rally, and it always tends to be shallow and short-lived. So the market still looks really good to me.
Well,
And
cathode production is 799,100 tons up to today in China. So last year at this point, year on year, it was 760. So they are pouring metal just at a faster rate than they were before and telling everybody else they're not doing it. So, yeah. I mean, the numbers I'm getting from my sources are saying there's a lot of product being used right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's look ahead to this week then.
Please do.
Not a very busy economic calendar. We've got housing starts on Tuesday.
That's a big number.
1.715 million is the market expectation.
Okay.
Wednesday we'll get FOMC minutes. And then Friday we have the market PMIs and existing home sales. 6.044 million is what the market expects on existing home sales.
I think that housing number, Pete, is going to be lower just because of bare cost. I mean, we're talking about, plywood up, 230%. Copper doubled. All the materials, aluminum wire, screws, nails. I mean, the inflation index in there is over 100%. So a lot of these homes that they were quoting out or estimating at, let's say it's a $300,000 house, it's a $400,000 house now. So the question becomes, are the individuals going to be qualified to get the loan? So the whole juxtaposition of buying a new place is going to be interesting to see how much pressure hits the market.
That puts the pressure on the builders too. What do you do?
Yeah.
Do you just hold them in inventory, or do you sell them, at a loss for the cash flow? You still got to pay your guys.
That sucks, man. That just sucks. And you know what? Guess what? They're the same way everybody else is. They can't find workers. Skilled workers are tough to find, especially when they get paid to sit on the sofa.
That's a really good point. Another big number last week, job openings, a record 8 million jobs out there that need to be filled.
Oh yeah, the largest construction company in Canada came out. I was watching one of the chief CEO. The woman was they were interviewing her, and I was thinking, wow, this ought to be interesting. She said, we have 1,500 top paying jobs. She said a lot of them start at 6 figures. She goes, we aren't even getting resumes. I was like, Oh, you know, so what you're saying really rings true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting thing about trying to get this economy fired up again. You know,
Fired up.
people are
Yeah.
still staying home, taking care of their kids. You know, we're facing summer, you know, so online school, even if your kids went back, you know, a lot of summer camps aren't happening this summer.
Oh, I hadn't thought
Uh,
of that. Yeah.
so people may still need to be
Well, we're
stay
now
at home.
mask free, so maybe they'll open the camps, right? That would
Yeah.
be great to help. The kids really need that. It's very beneficial,
Oh gosh, yes. And
Yeah.
the parents need it.
Yeah.
I need to get mine out of the house this
Yeah.
summer.
I didn't hear that. Wait a
They
minute.
know. They know.
I raised
They
three,
got to
man. I
go.
know, baby. I got the scars,
Yeah.
Well, listen, this has been great.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for dropping in on us. We will be back with you next week. Middle of the week, Pete does a market recap. Grant on Gold. Please sign up for it. It'll bring you right up to speed if you missed anything going on in the metals. Give us a like and a follow. This will be in your mailbox come Saturday morning. And you need some precious metals. Pete, where can they get some precious metals?
ZanerPreciousmetals.com is
Oh,
our website. You can
and
find us
we
there.
do have product, and we just, we've been lucky. So we've been able to meet orders as they come along. There's no real wait.
Absolutely. Thanks, Pete.
Yep.
Well, with that, you all have a great trading week. I'm Peter Grant, Zaner Metals in Denver.
Pete
See ya.
Thomas in Chicago and tomorrow, and everything is good.